Good afternoon, Santa Clarita. You're listening to Life Leadership with Alex Urbina, right here in your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Joining me in studio on the board is Mr. Bryce Thomas. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Alex.
You need to turn your mic on.
Good afternoon.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
My co-host, Wendy, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Excited to be here.
Yeah, today we got an exciting show. We're going to be talking about bullying.
Bullying, yes. It's a big issue.
Yeah, it's a big issue in schools. It's also a big issue on the internet.
It's becoming a bigger issue on the internet, absolutely.
Yeah, were you ever bullied in school?
I was actually. The good old-fashioned bullying, not the kind where there was actual internet interaction, because Facebook did not exist back then. But there was actual getting picked on, getting made fun of, getting pushed around a lot. Yeah, there was a lot of that. I was always the shortest little one and kind of naive. I grew up very protected, so I didn't really know a lot about life. And then I got thrust into this big public school where there were kids that seemed to be twice my age maturity-wise and experience-wise, and so I did end up getting quite a bit bullied.
What about you, Bryce?
Yeah, I had my fair share of being bullied. It was pretty much most of my schooling years. So I actually made the choice when I was going into my junior year of high school to just graduate early and just go to college right after that.
Yeah, because you wanted out so badly.
Yeah, and that was the time MySpace had just come out. So MySpace came out like when I was in 7th grade. So that whole online bullying didn't really start up. I guess not really back then. Mine was more in person and more physical. And the thing with the schooling system was all the people I went to elementary school with, I went to middle school with, and high school with. So it was the same kids. Constantly through that time, so it was a tough time in my life.
You know, for me, I might have to admit that I was probably kind of a little bit of a bully.
Yeah, you were on the other side.
Looking back, and I didn't do it with the intentionally to harm anyone or put anyone down. You know, generally growing up, I have and had a good heart, but I think I was more of a jokester. I used to like to joke and make fun, and I guess unconsciously not realizing if I possibly hurt people's feelings. But I was, just making fun and that kind of stuff. So I might have to admit that I was maybe a little bit of a bully.
Yeah, well, this is good. This is good for today's show because we have people on both sides then.
Absolutely.
People who've bullied and people who've
experienced.
Yeah,
we have an expert going to join us today. Her name is Susan Contreras from the
yay.
Domestic Violence Center. And she's actually going to be doing some workshops over at the Action Family Zone.
Right, on bullying.
On bullying.
And on internet bullying also.
Absolutely, absolutely. So when we come back, we're going to have her join us in studio and talk a little bit about bullying.
Very exciting, very exciting. So stay tuned for more. You're listening to Life Leadership with Alex Urbina right here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Hi, I'm Corey Peck, principal of West Creek Academy in Valencia, and you're watching SCV TV, local television for Santa Clarita.
Escape reality at the Ivy Day Spa in Valencia. Relax your mind in our tranquil solarium. Unwind during your VIP massage. Rejuvenate with advanced diamond tip microdermabrasion or choose from a variety of facial treatments. For a unique spa experience, visit the grotto where you'll enjoy a full-body exfoliating scrub in an exotic setting. Schedule your escape today and receive a 50% discount on a VIP grotto experience with your next full-service treatment at the Ivy Day Spa in Valencia.
Hi, I'm Dan Sturkle, General Manager at Nissan Valencia, home to the $99 down delivers. I'm standing next to two of my most favorite vehicles, the completely redone 2013 Altima with its unbelievable 38 miles to the gallon, and the 2012 fully electric Leaf. It goes 100 miles for under $5. Here at Nissan of Valencia, not only do we have some of the lowest prices on our new Nissans, but we also have extremely low prices on our vast inventory of pre-owned vehicles. Come see us at the all-new Nissan of Valencia, home to the $99 down delivers.
And welcome back to Life Leadership with Alex Urbina, right here in your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Today we're talking about bullying, and joining us in studio is Susan Contreras from the Domestic Violence Center. Thanks for joining us today, Susan. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
So tell me, what is bullying, and how has it evolved from when we were growing up? Because we were talking about when we used to get bullied,
Right,
some of
right.
us. And
I was.
I guess I have to admit I was a little bit of a bullier.
I think, growing up, I might have been a little bit of a bully myself.
Okay.
Yeah. Growing up in a family of 9, being the youngest, I kind of learned some traits from some of the other, my other siblings, being bullied a little bit. So I kind of carried that on to school and was a little bit of a bully myself, I think. So a lot of times what happens is that you kind of bring your traits from home into school with you. So I think that's really where a lot of kids today are experiencing bullying at school, because it's more prevalent at school than it is at other places where kids would hang out and stuff, like at the mall or something. Then you're kind of looking at harassment as opposed to bullying. So there's a big difference there, yeah.
What's the difference? How do you define it?
Really, the difference would kind of be more a legal aspect. It's what that's where the law kind of comes in and says, if you are someone that is repeatedly coming after someone and causing them some type of torment or something that makes them feel uncomfortable, and it's more at school, then that would be defined as bullying. Whereas if you are someone that's at, say, the mall or something and hanging out with a group of kids, and someone is causing you problems or something that doesn't happen very often, maybe once in a while, that's more of a harassment.
So it sounds more like someone that has the intent and that keeps going on and pursuing with an intent to put someone down or to belittle somebody, rather than it just happened or it was one time thing. Is that what it is?
Right. It's more of an intentional way to want to make someone feel discomfortable or uncomfortable in their own skin. A lot of times the bullies will go the extra mile to bring in some type of issues with say gender or something like that, and that's really where they're starting to cross the line.
Okay. So you said that you were bullied when you were
Yes, I was.
in high school. Was it high school?
It was in junior high. It was ninth grade. It was junior high. And I actually skipped 8th grade. So I went from 7th grade in a private Catholic school to ninth grade in a public, huge LAUSD school. So that was a big, huge transition. I went from a class of 30 kids to a class of 600 kids.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah,
huge.
it was huge, huge, huge transition. So I was very naive, and I was little, and I was small, and I hadn't developed
So you
yet.
made an easy target.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly. I was a very easy target, very easy target. I was very sheltered in life, so I didn't know about a lot of things. So when I got out there, and there were all these kids that seemed twice my age maturity-wise, and the experiences they had had were huge experiences, and I was like, I think maturity level of a 10-year-old, even though I was 13 or 14.
Right.
I just didn't know about a lot of things. I got made fun of a lot. Absolutely. I was the butt of the joke. And I think the hard part was that I was consistently the butt of the joke. In our little group of friends, it was always me being the last one picked on and the one that at the end of the day, was made fun of.
Right. So there's that intention kind of coming back at you and coming back, right?
Yeah, yeah. Even when other kids were like picking on other kids, it would all end up being turned around on me. Kind of like, well, we can always make fun of Wendy. That's kind of the last bet. I don't think any of this was conscious. I think they were just being kids, and I don't think it was like, oh, let's purposely make Wendy feel bad. It was just having fun to them. They were just being funny,
Right.
And I just happened to be the funniest character in our group that they could make fun of,
Or the
But
safest character
safest.
in your group.
Yeah,
but-
because I didn't fight back.
Right.
Exactly, because I didn't fight back. I didn't make fun of them in the same way. But it made me feel horrible. It made me feel so sad and disconnected from the group that at one point I just didn't want to go to school. I just refused to get up to go to school.
Right.
And I
That's
would
one of the signs actually that parents can look out for is a
Yeah.
kid that if their child is making up excuses, I'm not feeling good, I have a headache, my stomach hurts, whatever. If they're getting to school late or if they get there really early is another sign too, because then they're trying to get to their class or where they want to be before they have to cross paths with a bully.
And the stomach hurt, that could also be nerves too, right?
Exactly,
Like you're
yes.
nervous, you're thinking about it, you're causing a little bit of a stress,
Right.
worrying about going to school and being harassed or being bullied. So now you got your stomach all in a knot and you're not feeling
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, and you're
right?
anxious.
Yeah.
anxious. I felt a lot of fear.
Right,
Fear.
yeah.
I was really scared.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially that it was going to progress, that it was going to get physical at some point, or that I was going to get pushed, or So it
Right.
was just a sad, sad time in my life. I ended up not going to the same high school that all those kids went to,
Oh.
purposely. and ended up creating new friends and going into a new situation. So I just, similar to what Bryce was talking about earlier, exited out of the situation so that I wouldn't have to deal with it anymore.
Right.
Purposefully.
Purposefully.
So you asked your mom to pull you out, or was it like you just wrote it out till summertime and then you just went to a different school?
No. I purposely asked to apply for a magnet program that was an academic magnet program that was a different high school so that I could purposely get bused to a different high school. Yeah. My main consideration for that was to not have to see the same group of girls. By the way, these were majority girls, consistently on a consistent basis.
Now, what I'm interested in is how did your mom deal with it with you? What did she say? Do you remember what she said to you, or did you even tell her the truth?
I told her, I think at the very beginning, and her immediate reaction was to talk to the parents. That's what she wanted to do. She was like, well, I'm going to go talk to the parents. And that made it worse for me because it felt even more like embarrassing. Like I couldn't handle the situation on my own. And, you know, there's a culture of what kids do at school, and it's what kids do at school, and it's
Right.
their culture. And when parents get too involved in that, then your respect or your credibility as a kid within the group gets taken away because it's like you can't handle yourself with what's going on because nothing was being really physically done to me, right? So this idea of what is bullying and my ego was being hurt, or my, you know, now I look back and it was really the way I was building my character was being hurt.
Can I stop you for a minute? The way you say it, like nothing physically was happening, it's almost like you're discrediting that mentally you being abused is less than physically being abused.
Right.
Right?
It's like a mental protection.
Yeah, you say the way you said it was like nothing physically was happening to me. It was just a mental thing. And you know, when I do these trainings with the teenagers, and we're doing some emotional and cathartic release, and a lot of times I'll say, you know, raise your hand, and you know, their eyes are closed, obviously, and I say, raise your hand if you've been physically abused or mentally abused, and the hands go up. A lot of the kids will say, you know what, being mentally abused or verbally abused was sometimes more painful than actually being hit.
Yeah, those scars
That's
don't
very
go
true.
away.
Yeah,
That's very true.
yeah.
Well, now looking back on it, I can see how it affected my character and the way my character and my psyche of myself and my self-worth was established, which still affects me today.
Right.
So, yeah, so it was definitely something that hugely affected me. But I mean, in terms of how my mom reacted, I wasn't being physically hurt. So my mom wasn't like, oh, well, you've got scars, you know. But going to talk to the other parents didn't end up helping. It wasn't something that solved the problem. I think it was one
Sometimes
conversation.
kids will retaliate
Yes.
once you get adults involved too. You know, they'll make fun of you even more.
Right.
Or
Yes.
then it will become physical or something.
You can't
know.
fight your own battles.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to
right.
bring mommy to protect you, right? All that
Exactly,
stuff.
that's
So-
exactly
So it
how
starts
it
a
was.
whole nother level of
Exactly.
bullying.
Yes,
Exactly. So
yes.
it can get worse at some point.
And it did make me feel a little like, wait, I can't handle this? Why can't I handle this?
Right.
And I didn't have the tools to be able to handle it. I didn't know the tools to be able to handle it. But I wish at the time that somebody would have taught me the tools so that I could stand up for myself. Because that would have empowered me in the situation, and then would also taught me what to do for the rest of my life if I
Exactly.
find myself in the same situation. Because at
Exactly.
22 years old, I can't call mom to come, you know, rescue me out of the situation.
Right.
Yeah.
What kind of tools, either from you or from you, because you're a life coach now.
I am.
And,
I am. Isn't it
and
funny?
you know, you're crystal clear about, you know, people's opinions are their opinions, and we perceive our own reality, and we interpret people's words and turn them into things. Like
Right.
that's harmful, that's mean, that's rude. Or you can just hear it as, hey, that's just your opinion. And it doesn't hurt, it doesn't sting. You take that out through your perception, right?
We're filtering it through our perception.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know that now as an adult, but as a kid, kids don't know that. They turn words into things. Words mean something.
Right.
And at that time, especially in that age, they're hurtful. So what are some of the tools that you can teach some of the kids?
Well, some of the tools that we tell some of the parents and kids is really to just kind of walk away and to avoid. It doesn't really stop the bullying from happening. So then at that point, we would have them attend some workshops like you're talking about that you present and teach kids some of the tools to be able to handle things more on a mental level as opposed to having a parent step in and be their protector, you know, because they can't be there with them 24/7. Or like you had stated before, you know, at 22, you can't call up mommy and say, you know, you need to fight this battle with me or for me.
Right.
Well, I love that tool, and it's one of the tools that I use when I coach other people, and we call it what you focus on, you create more of.
Ah, yeah.
You're
yes.
saying walk away, and it's really just turn your back on whatever it is that you can't control, or
Right.
the things that you don't want, the more you keep focusing on it or resisting it, you actually create more of it.
More of it.
But if you just
Right,
turn your
focus
back
on it.
on it and focus on what you're committed to and what you do want, all of a sudden that stuff starts to fizzle.
Right.
They're going to actually go find, and I hate to say this, it's kind of sad, but they're going to actually go find someone else to bully, but
They
won't
do.
they won't be bullying you.
Right.
That's a great way. All right. Well, you're listening to Life Leadership with Alex Urbina right here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Hi, we're the Cub Scouts from Pack 575.
We have a message for you. Always be prepared.
Watch SCVT TV. 1, 2, 3. Cub Scouts rule!
In conclusion, our database management solution promises a 23% return in the first year alone.
In conclusion, our database management solution promises a 23% return in the first year alone.
In conclusion, our database management solution promises a 23% return in the first year alone.
Will they remember you? Everything is image, and you need your image on everything. For the most cost-effective solution, visit AmericanLogosForYou.com to put the name you choose on the things you choose. Advertise your company, promote your school, commemorate your family reunion. The possibilities are endless. Visit AmericanLogosForYou.com because everything is image.
I can't grasp why, but Bob's pitch seemed on target somehow.
Right. I can't put my finger on it, but Bob was memorable.
I agree. Bob's pitch made the right impression.
Let's award the contract to Bob then.
Make sure people remember you. Visit AmericanLogosForYou.com because everything is image.
The Donut Inn on Soledad Canyon Road has a new name, California Bakery and Cafe. You still get the donuts, hot chocolate, and fresh squeezed juices, the sandwiches, croissants, and our famous tamales. But you'll also get cakes for parties, celebrations, and major events. Our unique bread baskets offer a one-of-a-kind gift, all with the personal service you have come to expect for the last 35 years. Get a cup of coffee and a Danish 24 hours a day. California Bakery and Cafe.
And welcome back to Life Leadership with Alex Urbina, right here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Today we are talking about bullying, and we have Susan Contreras joining us in studio from the Domestic Violence Center. You know, before we went on a break, we were talking about bullying, and Wendy, you were sharing your experience in school about being bullied. And one of the tools that we started to talk about was walking away, just not giving it any more attention, turning your back on it, not resisting it or feeding the fuel so that to give them more stuff to talk about.
Right.
And your response during the break was
that wouldn't have worked for me. That definitely wouldn't have worked for me because these were my group of friends. They were my friends, and I couldn't walk away from my friends. 80% of the time, we all got along, and everything was great. And these were the people I hung out with at recess and at lunch and after school, and we were involved in a lot of the same after-school activities. So we'd go to practice together. We'd stay after school. Our moms were all friends. So, we'd carpool in the morning to school and carpool back home afterwards, after our activities. So walking away was not a choice for me. Only 20% of the time was I getting picked on.
Wait a minute. Now I got to intervene. There was a choice for you.
That was a choice for me, yeah. But it wasn't, the payoffs were greater to stay in the group than to walk away.
Okay, great. Let's talk about this. So what were the payoffs you were getting from hanging around your friends, your so-called friends, that were picking on you, that actually had you to the point where you were depressed and you left to go find new friends?
Yeah.
How interesting.
Well, the payoff eventually turned around, right? So the bullying eventually got to me to the point where I was like, no, I want new friends. I want a new environment. I think the payoff for me as a 14-year-old girl was that they were the cool kids.
So to be a part of something.
Yeah. Well, to be a part of something, but to also be a part of the cool kids.
That's what part of something was the cool kids.
Yeah. That there was value in that for me. That
So,
meant social status.
I get it. It raises the question, though, is what kind of friends do you want to hang around? And what's the meaning of friends?
Right, because that sounds like the mean girl clique.
Yeah.
That's what that sounds like.
Yeah. And you know what's so funny is now I'm no longer in contact with any of those girls. But the high school that I went to and started from scratch, I made what I now consider real friends, which both of my closest friends in high school with, I am still very good friends with 20 years later from where we met.
Because there was that emotional bond.
Yes, there was a difference in terms of the type of friendship we created.
Now I'm always going to ask these questions, right?
Yes.
So could you have
I'm open to your coaching,
So
Alex.
could you have created new friends the same way you did in the new school with the school that you were at where you were being bullied?
You know, I totally could have. At the time, I didn't see it as a possibility, but I totally could have. Absolutely. Absolutely. It would have been a very empowering place for me to have stood from.
Now imagine your parents actually getting clear about that and having you stick it out. Like, no, you're not going to run.
Right.
You're going to go and you're either going to decide whether these are your true friends or not and get clear about that. And if they're not, then go create new ones.
Yes.
What now talking about an empowering conversation, wouldn't that be
Yes.
powerful for you to stand up and say, you know what, guys, how about standing up for yourself, period?
Yeah.
You know what, guys, this
Not
hurts
okay with me.
Yeah, this is totally not okay with me, hurts my feelings. And either you guys are going to quit it or I'm going to quit you, one or the other.
And it's building your self-esteem too. That's
Yes.
really what you're learning there.
Yes, exactly. I think I didn't have enough self-esteem to begin with to be able to even state that, because I think it takes a certain level of confidence in yourself to be able to be like, okay, well, I'm going to create boundaries as to what I see as acceptable or not acceptable. Yeah, and I think that's part of why I do the work that I do now with the girls at the Zone, is because I really want them to have that sense of self-worth in them, that then they won't even be able to allow themselves to be in a situation where they're getting bullied.
What's the name of that
Right.
workshop that you're doing at the Action Family Zone?
Inner Grace. It's called Inner Grace. It's happening tomorrow, Tuesday, from 5 to 6. We do it twice a month, and it's just for girls.
And it's free.
And it's free.
And you're helping
14 to
build
18.
self-esteem.
That's right.
So that you do body image.
Yes, we're going to work on body image. Absolutely. We're
That's
working
wonderful.
on character right now.
Isn't
inner
it?
Yeah, that's
character.
great.
Yeah, it's all about building your self-worth and your value so you get what an amazing human being you are. So that when these situations pop up, because they will pop up in life, you have enough inner strength to handle them.
You
See
know
what
what's-
beautiful tools you're teaching these kids already.
You know what's amazing is that I think girls can be really mean, and I never
yes.
really, I
Yes,
never really
yes.
seen that in the years growing up. But as I'm, doing these workshops and around kids a little more often, or at the high schools and walking around, girls can be mean. They
Yeah,
could
yeah,
be
yeah.
Right.
probably the meanest bullies out there.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. We see that a lot with healthy relationships that we do with teens out at the Domestic Violence Center. And a lot of the workshops, when we're out there asking questions, we'll get a lot of more of the girls that are actually stating that they're the ones that are the unhealthy portion of the relationship, so to speak. So it's very
Isn't that
interesting.
interesting?
It's
Yeah.
very interesting. And like age 13 up
Yeah.
is when it starts really becoming more of a bully issue.
There's this saying that when men fight, it's just a fight. But when women fight, it's an art form.
What does that mean? It's an art form.
That's because in the way in which women fight, we use words and we're very manipulative and creative
So it's like
about how
it's a
we
whole
use-
game.
Oh yeah.
And then there's
Absolutely.
Retaliation's
It's where
huge.
you sit in the lunchroom. It's what you're wearing. It's who you allow to walk into the bathroom first. It's where you sit in the classroom.
This is what makes great reality TV.
It's all of that. It's not
This
a
is-
fight. It's the look across the hallway, right? It's who you go out with on Saturday, who you go to the mall with, who you don't invite to the mall after
Right.
school.
That's
true.
amazing.
That's all fighting. Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's true.
It's different levels. So
Different
that I
levels,
see what you're
yeah.
saying by an art form is they're perfecting it.
Yes.
They're getting
It's
better at.
complicated and it has a lot of layers to it. And it's not as simple as we don't like you. That's it. Get out of our group. Oh, no. It's much more, we kind of like you today.
Entangled.
Yes, much more complicated. That's why it's so important to give these girls and boys tools as to what to
Right.
do,
Right.
how to combat, and how to really take on the bullies themselves. Yeah. So when we get back from the break, let's talk about how we can empower parents and how we can empower the actual students, the bullies and the person getting bullied, to actually change their circumstances.
Right.
Cool?
Okay.
Sounds great.
All right, great. So you're listening to Life Leadership with Alex Urbina right here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Hi, I'm Dirk Fisher, and you're watching SCV-TV, local television for Santa Clarita.
You chose the Santa Clarita Valley for quality of life, but you also need quality of health. In the last few years, Henry Mayo has dramatically advanced care for our maturing population, introducing life-saving cardiovascular services, achieving an advanced primary stroke center designation, receiving the highest cancer program accreditation, and developing new joint replacement and spine programs. In fact, Henry Mayo is now a Best Los Angeles Regional Hospital. Henry Mayo, helping ensure your quality of life through better quality of health.
Scratch Golf Accelerated, Santa Clarita's unique indoor golf training and fun center. We have great programs for kids and adults of all levels. Rain or shine, we're here to improve your golf game and have fun doing it.
It's great to practice with just the girls at Scratch.
We enjoy playing in the adult league at night. It's a great time.
And they make it so much fun for the kids too.
We love Scratch!
Come see us at Scratch.
And welcome back to Life Leadership with Alex Urbina, right here in your hometown station, AM 1220, KHTS. Joining us in studio today, we have Susan Contreras from the Domestic Violence Center, and we're talking about bullying. And before we went on a break, we decided that we're going to come back and talk about empowering parents, how to support their kids in dealing with the bullies out there.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
what are some of the tools that you can suggest, to parents out there in supporting their kids?
Well, I have here 10 action steps that all parents can take to help eliminate bullying.
Okay.
One would be talking and listening to their kids every day. And how Wendy was saying that maybe parents want to schedule a time that's comfortable for their kids to be able to talk to their kids, or talk to their kids regarding bullying or what's going on in their day-to-day life.
So I call that just being a part of their life, because a lot of
Right.
what I'm noticing is a lot of parents are really busy, and then these aren't excuses. I'm just telling you what I'm noticing. If they're really busy,
Well, a lot of parents have to work. Both parents are working now.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
this
Some are
economy,
working
so-
two jobs.
Right.
and-
So
yeah.
that makes it difficult.
a lot of parents are focused on maybe their relationships. If they're a single parent, they're trying to have a life too.
Right.
So when they get home from work, they're on the Skyping or texting or Facebooking people because they got their life. So it's just really making it a priority to be involved in your child's life,
Right.
and putting aside some time, whether it's at dinner or you go for a walk, or just get involved in your kid's life and ask them questions, and you kind of have to be like a snoop.
Yeah.
You got to snoop
You
around.
also
and-
have to find out a time when your kid is willing to talk to you, is open to talking to you, right? Because it might not be right when they get home from school. I think we were talking about this last week when we talked about the VITA program, that some kids want to talk, right before they go to bed. Maybe that's when they open up. But whenever your kid starts saying, "Hey, Mom, I want to talk to you about something," you drop everything you're doing, you sit down, and you talk to your kid, because that's when your kid is opening
I'm so
up.
bad at that.
It's really making your child priority.
Yes.
My
right?
youngest daughter comes to me, and she always, and every time I'm like deep in thought on the computer and I'm working on a
Working,
project,
mhm.
it's like, "So Dad," and I'll unconsciously just answer her questions, and she'll move on, and then my wife will have to come over and go, "Did you not see that your daughter was trying to ask you and like talk to you?" And I was like, "No."
Yes, those are the
And then
moments.
I
Those
then
are
I have
the
to
moments.
go back into her room. I'm like,
Yeah.
"I'm so sorry," and she's like, "No, it's okay, Dad." And I'm like, "No, it's not okay," and I have to, and God bless my wife for being willing to call me on that stuff, and for me to give my wife permission to say, "Hey, call me on that stuff," because I get focused on other
Yes,
things,
it's
but
unconsciousness, yes.
absolutely.
Right.
But it's about being more aware and really being available especially when they want to.
That's the key.
'Cause
That's
it's-
when they want to.
yeah,
Because you could ask them at the dinner table, "How was school?" And if you just get a fine, and that's
Right.
it, then they don't. You can't force it out of them. No, you got to tell me right now, because I'm not going to have time later on tonight to talk to you.
Yeah.
So you got to tell me in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, it takes
So
a conscious effort to really just and ask them a lot of questions. So how
build
was your day-to-day?
relationship.
Yeah.
Build relationship. Absolutely.
That's huge. That's huge.
And then also noticing their response, because you can ask them, "How was your day today?" "It was fine." There's, even if you're listening to the tone of the body, the way their body mannerism is,
yes.
"It's fine." "No, there's something else there. What do you want? Is there something you want to share with me?" Right? You have to
Yes,
kind of be like
absolutely.
a detective as a parent.
Absolutely.
Right.
As a conscious parent, you got to be a detective. You got to try to make it a safe invitation for them to share,
I think
where
that's
you're
the
not going
most
to judge them.
important,
Yeah.
making it safe for them.
Right,
That's really,
right.
really important,
Yeah.
because a lot of times when the parent's reaction to something is why the child doesn't want to be honest and open. If they have a parent that their first instinct is to let me go talk to the other parents,
Oh,
which
yes.
may not be a reaction that the child wants to hear.
Okay, so parents, this is how you don't support your kids, is wanting to go fight and go pull the parent out and make
Dealing-
make your
right.
son or daughter be embarrassed because you want to just go address it
You
right
want
off
to
the
go
bat.
solve the
Right.
problem
Exactly.
for
Right.
them
Exactly.
versus giving
Right.
the kids the tools to solve the problem themselves. Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Nice.
I
High
think you need
five
to
to
empower
women.
thank you for that.
Absolutely.
But what else can parents do?
Well, spending time at school if they can, if they're in
Absolutely.
grade school, volunteering in the classroom, just so that you can kind of see what's going on, how your child reacts in a social setting with other kids. It might give you a clue as to if your child at a younger age may be bullied or a bully. You want to know either or. So that's another good one too. And also being a good example of kindness. Kids pick up and they'll, react basically how their kids are or how their parents are acting. If they have a parent that is an aggressive driver, say, then chances are they might, when they start driving, become an aggressive driver.
I have a great one. How about opening up a discussion with your kid and ask them, are you a bully at school?
All right. Or are you getting bullied?
Or are you getting bullied?
Yeah.
I
That's
think that a lot
great.
of times just the awareness
Right.
and bringing it up and not acting like it's not happening to my kid or
Right.
My kid's not one of them. Staying in denial is not going to do anything. But I think just opening up discussions about it and bringing it out and bringing it to their attention starts a dialogue.
Absolutely.
Right? And it's
that's
hard.
what
I think
we
it's
need.
hard to be a bully if your mom's always asking you, are you a bully?
Right.
Yeah. Well, how was your experience, Alex? Because you were sharing at the beginning of the show that you
Thanks for
now
bringing that back
consider
up again. I
yourself
appreciate it.
a bully. That you actually looking back at, you're thinking you were probably a bully yourself, right?
Yeah, and again, I said it wasn't from a mean, malicious intent to hurt anybody because I had a good heart and loving and caring. But I was a jokester, and I still am a jokester. If you hang around me and you know me very well, I'm gonna make fun a lot. And people are like, you know what, Alex? I know that how I know you like me because you make fun of me, right?
Yes, that's so
And
true.
I'm the first one that I can take a joke too. But I think it was just making fun, and it was just part of my culture, I guess, in that school. It was just that's what me and my friends did, is we made fun of each other. But what you brought something to my attention earlier. You said when there's a group of friends that are making fun of each other, you said, isn't there the one person that you guys all knew they were the easy target?
Yes.
And it didn't dawn on me that there was that one person.
Yes.
And it's usually the one person that was so-called the weakest link
Not
in
really
that
weakest,
group.
but yeah.
Yeah, but you
Yes,
know what I'm
exactly,
saying.
Exactly. No, that was me. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Whether they're the shortest or they ran the slowest or
Exactly.
they
They were just the
stuttered
easiest
or
to pick on for whatever reason.
exactly.
Or sometimes they're the youngest and want to hang out with the older crowd. It's
Yes,
almost like a
that's true.
hazing ritual that you'll
That's
have
right.
to be
If you want to hang with
treated
the
a certain way.
you want to hang out with the big boys, you're
Right.
gonna have to pay the price. type of
Right.
thing.
Well, we're having a great conversation about bullying and how to stop it in your family. So stay tuned for more. You're listening to Life Leadership with Alex Urbina right here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Hello, I'm Captain Ed Colley. You're watching SCV TV, local television for Santa Clarita.
When I grow up, I want to help animals. When I grow up, I want to help animals. When I grow up, I want to help animals.
Did you know SCV TV reaches over 250,000 people in the Santa Clarita Valley? SCV TV's sports and event coverage has audiences in the tens of thousands. SCVTV.com has nearly 200,000 page views a month, and no other Santa Clarita media outlet has more friends on Facebook than SCV TV. Can you imagine what it would mean to your business if your message reached all those people? If you need to generate more local business, or if you would like to uniquely position your company within the community, then consider SCV TV in your marketing campaign. SCV TV, the only local television for Santa Clarita.
Welcome back to Life Leadership with Alex Urbina, right here in your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Joining us in studio today is Susan Contreras from the Domestic Violence Center. We've been talking to her about bullying, and I know one of the things that we definitely wanted to talk about is how to empower the bullies to stop bullying people.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think a big part of the whole bullying experience, like you were sharing, Alex, is that you weren't really consciously aware that you were hurting this other kid, right?
That's the key, is that I wasn't consciously aware of it, But had I had some kind of a conscious experience or awakening to it, I think that my heart, my soul, my spirit would have said, hey, knock it off. Or maybe if I would have had somebody that would have called me on it or confronted me on it, had the courage to say something, I probably would have been more aware to it. And for me, I know that some of the trainings that I do has that awakening experience, and what it does is it brings those kids together. So let's say it's a group of 20 kids doing one of my trainings. They're going to go through experiences and like some team bonding and some vulnerable moments together where they actually start to gel. They start to have compassion for each other, and through some of the processes they go through, it's hard to bully somebody when you know their story.
Isn't that so true?
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah,
when you know their story and you're hooked to them, like a heartstring from heart to heart, you're less likely to bully them.
Yes.
And when we first started this show, on a couple of the shows, we had some of the kids from Canyon High that they have a program that's sort of similar to what I do. And what it's designed to do is to bring the kids together so that they have an experience, so that they open up and share. And when people are opening up and sharing and being vulnerable like that, you now instantly have a connection to them, and it's less likely for you to bully them or to make fun of them, because now you have compassion for them. You have compassion for what they've gone through. And I think that more of these programs and bringing kids together and having them share and connect, you're going to start noticing that if you implement those programs in some of the schools or all the schools, you're going to notice that we're going to have a reduction, I think, in bullying, period.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right.
What I'm hearing you say is that the first thing that needs to happen is a bully needs to know that they're an actual bully, that they're hurting people. That
because they may
it's
not even be conscious of it.
Exactly.
Right.
And that other people need to make that bully aware of it, whether it's another student that stands up to them and says, hey, no, this is not okay. You just making fun of me all the time is not okay.
All it takes is one courageous person in that group to go, you know what, that wasn't cool. Or you know what, I'm just gonna stop. I'm gonna declare that from this point forward, I'm just gonna stop making fun of people.
Yeah, and what about the other, let's say it's a group of 6 kids, right? And there's one major bully and kind of the kid that gets picked on. What about the other 4 people in the group?
That's
They're
what I'm
just
talking
standing
about.
by.
Those are the
Right.
ones I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I'm not talking
yeah.
about the kid that obviously hasn't stood up for himself because he doesn't know how, and he can't find it within himself to speak up for himself or to stand up for himself for whatever reason. But what about the other 4 or 5 in that group
that are just watching it?
Yeah, and they're just, and you know that in their mind as they're watching it, you know they want to say something too.
Or they don't think it's okay.
Yeah, they know that it's not okay, or they're going along because it's the cool thing. It's like, I don't want now, or I'm just glad it's not me.
Yeah.
Right? I'm glad it's not me and it's Wendy, so we're all going to just gang up on Wendy.
Right. Yeah. I wish one of those kids would have stood up for me. And then I also wish I would have stood up. Absolutely. That I would have had the tools, or somebody would have said, hey, Wendy, here are the tools that you need to, really empower yourself to say something, that it's not okay.
One of the things I think about too is back then when we were growing up was, and this is a question, so we'll just be in the question for a moment. Was bullying going on at the same rate or that it was then that it is now? Or is it that we're just more aware of it now and we have media and maybe kids are committing suicide because of it? So it's more heightened and we're more aware of it because of the media? Or were kids being depressed and committing suicide back then and doing those kinds of things back then too? I'd have to think that they were. It just wasn't out in the media as much.
Well, I think in the social media too now, it brings a whole new platform for kids to go out and bully others.
Another arena.
Right. And parents, I mean, you've heard the stories where parents actually go onto Facebook and create fake personas so that they can then start bullying some of the kids that their child has been bullying.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, or retaliate against a bully that their child has been bullied by, or, things of that nature. So there's actually new laws in California that are coming out regarding cyberbullying, and per se Facebook is one of the biggies that they really want to start keeping tabs on, basically for that reason, because there was suicides that were connected to it, and it's getting really bad.
Scary.
With all the depression.
Yeah.
And
but Susan, isn't it that a kid can't even have a Facebook page until they're a certain age? Don't they have to be 15 or something like that by law?
I think it's 13
to have a Facebook page.
Right, to have a Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
But a lot of parents don't check on there to see, what their child's doing. So, anybody can create a Facebook page and they can change their age to whatever they want because it's just a button to push.
Is that amazing?
Right.
Wow.
You just create a fake birthday.
Right.
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 That's what they were doing on MySpace in the beginning. Kids were saying they were 15, 16. They were 12
Right.
years old.
Right.
Or 10 years old with the MySpace page.
Right. So it's really up to the parent, at that point to make sure that they're not, their kids aren't engaging in any type of Facebook or other social medias that might be putting them in danger, putting their age out there, where they go to school, what their phone numbers, their home addresses. There's all this different information that kids are putting out there that could actually endanger them and put them in harm's way for bullies.
How do the schools intervene in that? What do you think some of the possibilities of the schools intervening? I think I was reading an article where it said if schools have a no bullying policy, no tolerance for bullying, and they stand there, that they're less likely to have incidents in their school. But I don't know how much it would take for you to actually enforce it, right? Because there's a difference between having the policy and actually enforcing it.
Right. Isn't that true?
A lot of schools don't really want to take the responsibility for any of the bullying that's going on. And that comes down from kids that have actually committed suicide on their campuses. And that's where it gets really sticky and they don't want to get involved as much. There are a lot of different programs out there. You can search the website, the web, and there's a lot of websites out there that will give you information to bring some good programs to schools so that they do, adopt a anti-bullying or something that they can stick with, that they're going to go across the board with all kids. I know that a lot of times right now, even on Facebook, there are some schools out there that if your child comes in with proof that another student has been bullying them on Facebook, the school actually will step in now as well too.
That's
we have a great group out here, the SCV Youth Project.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That they're involved in our schools, and I know they have programs where they're out there talking and doing presentations about bullying.
Right.
So I know that they're doing some amazing stuff for us out here in the Santa Clarita Valley.
Right. Right.
That's great. That's great. I'd love to hear more about these programs available to really support bullies and families that are dealing with this. Because I know families just,
not support bullies.
Support the ending of bullying.
There you go.
Let me get clear on that. Great. So you're listening to Life Leadership with Alex Urbina right here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Hello, I'm Gail Pinsker. You're watching SCV TV, local television for Santa Clarita.
Santa Clarita is Southern California's entertainment destination. Just minutes from LA, Santa Clarita's year-round weather means you can enjoy year-round fun. Like thrilling coasters and water parks, premium shopping, destination day spas, fine dining, outdoor adventure, and major events such as wine festivals, golf tournaments, and the Cowboy Festival. Santa Clarita, always in season.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wanna know what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle.
The odds of a child being in a Broadway show are 1 in 11,000. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism, 1 in 166. The odds say it's time to listen. To learn the signs of autism, visit autismspeaks.org.
And welcome back to Life Leadership with Alex Urbina, right here in your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Today we're talking to Susan Contreras from the Domestic Violence Center, and we're talking about bullying. So do you have workshops that you're doing about bullying, right, over at the Action Family Zone? Is that correct, Susan?
Yeah, I'm doing one for parents, a parent workshop on anti-bullying on August 28th from 7 to 8:30 at the Action Family Zone.
Now, how do they get involved in it? How, if a parent's listening and wants to go listen and be a part of that, how do they sign up for that?
Actually, I think that they can just go ahead and show up to Action Family Zone and sign up there at Action Family Zone for the workshops.
Okay, and the workshops are all free, which is awesome to our community, right? So they can just sign up for that. And what are they going to anticipate getting from that workshop when they come in?
Well, here they're going to learn some tips on what they can do to keep their children from being bullied. They're going to learn some tips if their children or their child is a bully. Things about bullying on the internet, cyberbullying and stuff. They're going to get some great tips on that as well. So basically, just a lot of tips and tools that they can use, and a lot of websites too. There's a lot of really great websites out there that have a lot of information for parents as well.
That's great. And then along with the tools and the tips, if we can get our kids to build a stronger self-esteem and be able to stand up for themselves, to love themselves enough, right, to stand up for themselves, to be worthy enough to say, hey, you don't get to talk to me like that. And that comes from developing yourself, right, to developing a stronger sense of self. And that's a workshop that you'll be doing with some of the girls that's coming up tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely.
What's the name of that workshop?
The name of the workshop is Inner Grace, and it's at the Zone. Also a free workshop, and it's for girls 14 to 18 that want to build their self-esteem, or that are looking for a safe space to come to where it's just other girls, so we can talk about what's really going on in their lives, so that there's another adult in their life that isn't necessarily their mom or their dad or their teacher or their counselor at school, but another adult that they can safely go to really have an honest conversation about what's going on with them and how they feel about themselves and their body.
And what I love about your workshop is that you bring a new awareness to the kids that opens them up to really look at stuff and go, wow, why do I do that? Why
Yes.
did I do that?
Yes,
Why don't I
absolutely.
do this? I think that's the magic of these transformational
Yes.
workshops is putting them in these discussions, putting them in these experiential exercises where it has them question and kind of look in within themselves and really question, why am I doing this? What do I need to do? And it just gets them, it's drawing the answer out from them.
Exactly,
right?
exactly, because they already have the answer in them, and it's having them get reconnected to what an amazing human being they actually are, absolutely, and really working on that inner part of themselves that they don't get to work on anywhere else, because where else are we, really working on self-esteem and self-worth issues? And it's such a necessity, especially at this age. I think it's so
Well, there
hugely
are other
needed.
things out there that can help you build a stronger self-esteem. But I haven't seen many places that actually have workshops where it's directly all committed to doing that
doing just
personal
that.
development
Absolutely.
work.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as we can see, self-worth affects every decision you make in your life,
Absolutely.
whether it
Right.
has to do with bullying, sex, drugs, every single decision you make in your life. Yeah.
Then you can get to a point where if you've done enough work on yourself, there's really nobody that can bully you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where I'm at now. Thank God.
Yay.
Yay. That's where I
Right?
feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it. They just can't tag me anymore.
Yeah,
It just
Right.
affected
yeah.
me.
It doesn't matter what intent you have to get my goat. You ain't getting my
Yeah,
goat.
you ain't getting it.
It gets to a
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
You get to a point where it's like, you know what? I'm just not going to give up my power to you, or
Right,
I'm not even going
yeah.
to respond to that. It
Yeah.
just has no
Right.
merit. So you get to a point where you won't
It just slides
you
off.
won't allow yourself to be bullied.
Yeah.
Right.
It just slides
The
off
only
you.
reason why you allow yourself to get bullied is because you're interpreting their words, their intent as harm. And if we have self-limiting beliefs and somebody is saying something that matches up with that self-limiting belief, it actually brings it true to you, right?
Right.
That's right. Something can't really land with me unless I believe it in myself first.
Right,
So if somebody
right.
says, hey, you're tall. Well, I'm not tall. I'm 5'2". So I'm just going to be like, okay, cool. That's cool. You think I'm tall, but I know I'm short. I'm really not that way. That's not really
So really what
lands
a
for me.
bully does is they speak into a weakness that they notice.
Right.
And then the person that's being bullied allows themselves to believe and validate that weakness is true. And then it just makes them feel terrible about it. Right.
Yes.
Right.
But if you have a strong belief in yourself and you know that who you are, whether you're small, fat, skinny, tall, that you're perfect no matter what, there's really nothing, nobody. It's like they have no ammo. You're not
Right.
allowing them to have any ammo to fire at you.
Yes,
You're keeping
exactly.
all your power with you, and you're not letting them walk away with any of your power.
That's right.
That's why
right.
that's why these kind of workshops are so important. So if you have a teenage girl, 14 to 18, I'm going to be doing it tomorrow. It's called Inner Grace from 5 to 6.
Well, let's get
at
them
the
to your
Zone.
workshop
Yes,
tomorrow at 7
tomorrow.
o'clock.
Yes.
Get
Come
there
to the
early. Get there at
workshop.
6:30. Sign up. Introduce
It's
yourself.
from 5 to 6. So get there early.
Oh, I'm sorry.
4:30.
4:30. So 4:30 tomorrow.
Yes. sign up. Come, it's free, so just show up at the Zone, absolutely. Or you can go to the Facebook page for the Zone to get more information also.
All right, and then you have some information about is it an anti-bully day? Is that what you said?
Right. There's World Day of Bully Prevention. That's going to be October 1st. You can go on to Love Our Children, stompoutbullying.com, and get your blue shirt. It's Blue Shirt Day. So if any other information, just go ahead and go to our website, dvcofscv.com.
Beautiful, beautiful. And the takeaways for today's show, we were talking about bullying, excellent conversation about bullying. One is for the person getting bullied, walk away or tell someone. Definitely don't let the bullying continue. Don't protect it. So talk to someone, a parent, a counselor, anyone that you trust, to learn to stand up for yourself. That's really what you need to do, is stand up to the bully to create boundaries. Parents, get involved. I know we keep saying this on Alex's show all the time, but be involved in what's happening in your child's school. Be
And
involved
bring
in
up
what's
questions.
happening.
Ask them.
Ask them.
Have you ever been bullied?
Have you ever been bullied?
You will be surprised. I bet
Right.
if you've never asked your kid that question, you'll be surprised that they might say, yeah, Mom, I've probably been bullied a couple of different times.
Right.
Well, thanks for listening. You're listening to Life Leadership with Alex Urbina here every Monday from 1 to 2 p.m. right here in your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.